How to improve IELTS speaking part 1. My name is Ben Worthington, and in this tutorial we are going to look at a variety of strategies you can use to expand your answers, improve your pronunciation in the exam and before the exam. Let's jump straight into it. So the easiest way, I think, to do this is to expand your answer. Let me give you an example. So more than likely in part 1, the examiner is going to ask you where you're from, what are you doing in this country, are you a student, are you an employee, are you working, etc. And it's a perfect opportunity because we know the questions, or we have a rough idea of the questions in advance. So what we can do is prepare for them, and we can upgrade them. So for example, the examiner might ask me, where are you from, Ben? And I'd say, I can say, I'm from Manchester, England. Or I could say, I'm from Manchester, home of the current Premier League champions, Manchester City. Also, it's the home of famous rock bands such as Oasis, Happy Mondays, and a few others. Can you see I've used so much more vocabulary there? I've given the examiner more reasons to score me higher. And also, if I'm giving good, solid answers like that, then I'm just making myself feel better. I'm just more relaxed in the exam because I know that I'm not shooting myself in the foot, so to speak. So let's move on to the next way on how you can improve your IELTS speaking part 1. The first part, okay, is that we must be aware that this is also a listening exam. Okay, this might sound a bit weird at first, but stick with me. It's a listening exam because you have to pay attention to what the examiner is asking you. Because it's very easy, especially in exam conditions, to answer a different question that you thought the examiner gave you. And that's just not allowed, okay? It's crazy if you do this. So you need to be aware that this is also a listening exam. And this goes for part 1 as it does for part 2. So let me give you an example. The examiner might ask you, do you prefer living here in Sydney or in Manchester? My answer, yes, Sydney is a great place to live. I love the beaches, the weather, and the people. Can you see? Complete train crash. So you need to be aware. In that example, it was, do you prefer living here in Sydney or Manchester? So here we're going to say something like, obviously Manchester. We're going to say, well, that's an interesting question. To be honest, I prefer Manchester because I'm more familiar with the people, the food, I've got family there, etc. Or whatever your answer is. But you need to show the examiner that you have listened and you have understood the question. Next one. Smile. Smiling will make you feel more confident. It'll make you more relaxed. It'll make the examiner a little bit more relaxed, you know. Compare it to just sat there like a piece of cardboard, you know, piece of paper, nothing going on. It's hard work for the examiner. Go in there with a pleasant smile. You make her life or his life easier and you'll feel better as well. Next one, breathe. This will make you feel more relaxed. When we're nervous, we have this tendency to tighten up and it restricts our speaking. Whereas if we go in there more relaxed, our language is going to flow, we're going to feel better, we're going to give more honest answers. It's just going to be a better experience for you. And practice this, because one thing is being aware of, oh, I've got to breathe in the exam, but the other thing is actually taking this on board and doing it. And the way I practice personally is, obviously I'm not going to do any exams, but I do like to focus on my breathing. So whenever I'm reading, I try and consciously take deeper breaths just to relax a little bit more. or just when I'm in environments, I try to be aware of my breathing. It just helps me make me feel a little bit more relaxed. I can get into the moment more focused. Next one. Remember that the examiner is there to help you, make it easier for them. This goes back to what I was saying before. Okay, you don't want to be a boring stick in the mud. You don't want to be a boring just person there. You want to give the examiner reasons to help mark you high. So avoid single word answers, I mean, and this could be even extended to, sometimes you might think that it's inevitable, but the examiner could say, what is your name? And you say, Ben. Where are you from? Manchester. Ugh, terrible. So the examiner could say, what is your name? You say Ben or Benjamin, but everybody calls me Ben. Yeah, just little things like this. It just makes it go easier. It makes the whole thing flow. And if you're relaxed, the examiner is going to be more likely to be relaxed as well. Next one. Go into the exam warmed up. Okay, don't go in there not having spoken English for 3 weeks or whatever. Go in there. Speak with a friend beforehand. Make sure it's a full hour, just full on English conversation back and forth. On Skype, with a tutor, with a friend, anything, but go in there warmed up. And this is especially important if you're in a country that is not English speaking. If you're in, India, if you're in Nepal, wherever, where English is not widely spoken everywhere, compared to somewhere like Australia or England, then you need to take the action, you need to take the step and make a call beforehand, or find somebody and just converse in English, get warmed up, get pumped up. And it makes it a lot easier, trust me on this one. I know this, and I'm not just saying because I read some stupid article about tips. I know this because I speak another language, and I know that as soon as I get back into Spain, it takes me at least a day until I can start speaking and my language starts flowing again. Up until then, I've got a horrible accent. I sound like a foreigner, and my friends are laughing at me. So obviously, we don't want the examiner to laugh at you. I doubt they would, but you do want to go in there warmed up. All right. Next one. Warm up, like when we're warming up our English, we also want to be warming up our social skills. This might be a bit tricky to explain, but I'll give you an example from personal experience. If I'm on the computer working all day, then I go to a social event. Takes me, a good 20, 30 minutes until I'm sort of like relaxed and into it, and I'm speaking more freely and conversation's more flowing. And this is the mindset or the feeling that you want to be when you're going into your speaking exam. You want it to be relaxed and flowing. So this is another reason why you should warm up. But you want to not just get warmed up with the language, but you want to get into a talkative mood. Okay, give the examiner more material to work with. Give them more reasons to give you a higher score. That's quite important. So you might want to do a social event or just get really chatty beforehand and do the English warming up. But it's especially important if you're in an environment where maybe you're not speaking that much, or maybe you're not speaking English that much, and you want to give the examiner the best example of your English. And the best way to do that is to get warmed up beforehand. Next one, go in there with confidence. And I know that confidence is an issue. I have lots of students, and in the exam, the level is here. Speaking to me, the level is up here. Why is this? The main reason is because of their confidence. They tighten up, and they're not giving the examiner a true reflection of their abilities. So how do we get confident in the exam? Well, one, we do all those steps that I told you before, warming up, getting in a social mood, talkative, preparing your answers, expanding your answers. And the other one we do is we that's the next one. We visualize ourselves having a great exam. You're sitting there, the examiner is warm and friendly, the examiner understands your accent, likewise you understand their accent, and it's all just a very pleasant experience. So try and get that picture of your IELTS success your IELTS successful exam, get it clear in your mind, and then it's much more likely to happen. I'm not going to go into it all, but you can search on YouTube for more videos about visualization and all that. Next one, posture. Sit there with your back and neck straight. Don't sit there like a little cocoon and nervous. Okay, sit there, back straight, neck straight, head straight. Look at the examiner. If you've got a problem with looking at them in their eyes, I know this is a problem for some students, look at this space between the eyebrows. Just focus on that. But if you've got strong posture, then there's a TED talk about this, been proven. But if you've got a strong posture, it's going to be transferred into your sort of like mentality. If you're sitting strong, then you're going to be perceived as strong and you're going to be acting strong. Okay? I'll put a TED talk in the comments which explains it much more eloquently, but the basic fact is that if you're sitting there like this as well, you're going to feel more confident, you're going to act more confident, and also that when you're speaking, it's all going to be like one direct channel, which helps improve your delivery. So if I'm like this and it's all curled up, it's coming out like that, obviously it's going to be more difficult to understand. But if I'm sat straight, shoulders back, neck up, and I'm looking at the examiner and I'm smiling, then it's going to be a much more pleasant experience for the examiner, for you, and you're going to feel much better. Now, the next one. Understand the objective of part 1. Okay, the objective for part 1, from the examiner's point of view, is to get some basic details from you, but to make you feel, but also to make you feel at ease. Relax you into the situation. So this is why you should be, be there confident, relaxed. It's your opportunity to shine. Okay, that's the best way I can put it. It's your opportunity to shine, and it's your opportunity for IELTS success. Next one, you want to get familiar with different accents. This relates back to what I said before about it being a listening exam. But if you're taking your exam, for example, in Bahrain, and they have an examiner from Glasgow, it's going to make it a bit of a challenge. Of course, the examiner will obviously try and smooth their accent out a little bit. They're not going to be there in broad Glaswegian. They will try and smooth it out, but still, even if it's smoothed out, could be a challenge for you, especially if your listening skills are not that good. So what you want to do is prepare in advance and be aware of different types of accents. And this is quite easy, just go to YouTube, put Scottish speaker or Scottish films, try watching a Scottish film, Train Spotting or whatever, and it really will be like a baptism of fire. You'll be like, whoa, this is how the Scots speak. And likewise, just try and get familiar with how Canadians, Welsh, English, whichever, especially English, because they usually speak faster than what I do, for example, faster, closed, clipped, and this can be a real challenge, especially if you're not living in an English-speaking country. So, final one, if you want to get ahead, and if you want to get this exam out of the way as quickly as possible, and you want to really go into detail about all the topics I just mentioned, all the tips I just mentioned, put them into practice, then you might want to have a look at the online course at IELTSPodcast.com. And we've got the speaking confidence course there, because I know from personal experience that if a student is confident, then they're already going to be perceived as a better speaker. And as they say, perception is reality. So this is one of the reasons why we try and focus on confidence a lot. Another reason why we give a mock exam as part of the course, so we can identify the mistakes and focus on improvement by giving some valuable feedback. So if you want to get ahead and if you want to get this IELTS out of the way, have a look at the links below, and I'd love to work with you. So my name is Ben Worthington. have a great day. Good luck with your IELTS preparation. And if you've got any suggestions, or if you want me to do a video about another topic, put it down in the comments and I'll try and get around to making a video about that. Okay? All the best, and thank you.